What's up, YouTube? Tops85401 here, and I'm doing a video response for Joey Brings It. Awesome topic. He wants us to talk about if we had 20 grand, would we invest that 20 grand if we could buy one card in a modern prospect card, or would we invest it in a vintage card? And that is a great question. I guess Joey's been kind of noticing that a lot of the modern cards, a lot of the prospects, unproven players have their key cards, maybe their first Bowman autograph card that has a manufactured rarity. They're selling for like 20 grand. But also cards like the green Ty Cobb and a SGC 4.5 or a PSA 2 Mantle, maybe a Johnny Bench rookie card and a PSA 9. Those cards are selling for around the same price, approximately $20,000. So if we had 20 grand, where would we go? Where would we invest our money? Great question. And for me, all day long, I'm going with vintage. Vintage all day long. Now, in the background, I just have a couple of cards that are approximately the same value. You got a Willie Mays rookie card and an SGC 1.5 and a Mike Trout raw rookie card, 2011 update diamond anniversary rookie card raw. These two cards probably approximately the same value. If I was at a show and I had enough money to buy either one of these cards, and I didn't have either one, I would definitely go with the 51 Bowman Willie Mays all day long. But we're talking 20 grand. And if I'm going to spend 20 grand, there is no way I would ever invest in a young, unproven player or a young player that has maybe a season or two under their belt and it's their key card. And the reason is anytime you get a young prospect or a young player, you would be lucky if, because the pricing on those cards is speculation, right? People are speculating their potential. And I would say 1 in 20 times a player will actually achieve what the speculators are looking for. And that's being really generous. I think that it's probably even less than 5% of the time. Just there's a lot of risk, very little reward, because I say that because if the player actually does achieve what speculators are looking for, the odds of that card actually being worth what they're selling for once the player achieves that are maybe 50%. There's good chance that the value of the card could go down or just kind of be stagnant. But vintage cards, if you look at the history of vintage cards, they're always consistently going up. The vintage card values are going up. And for me, it's not even about the price. That's not the main reason why I would go vintage. I would go vintage because vintage is king. There's history in the card. There's history in the player. There's history in the set. There's just a lot more history with vintage cards. Vintage cards pave the way or pave the path for the modern cards. And if you look at the history of vintage cards, they're just beautiful. So would I go, my choice would probably be either a green Cobb and a SGC 4.5 or a 5, somewhere in there. I'm guessing that would be around a $20,000 card, or a 52 Mantle and a PSA 2. It would be a coin toss. There's no way I could tell you guys what card I would choose. If I was at the card show, if I had the money, if it was an opportunity to buy either one of them, it would be a head scratcher. I'd probably go back and forth and it would be a game time decision. But it would be one of those two cards. Now the 206 set, I know it's been gaining a ton of popularity. It's really popular with set collectors, popular with team set collectors. And there's also a lot of people that collect just the portrait cards. And of course that green Cobb is a portrait. It's also his rarest card in the set, and that green is just beautiful if you could get a nice example. Of course, the 52 Mantle is the face of our hobby. When people think of baseball cards, probably the first image that pops in their head, especially if they're not collectors, is the 52 Mantle. So it's kind of that's why that's an iconic card, because people that don't even collect cards or are kind of novice collectors, will know what the 52 Mano card looks like more than any other card. So for me, definitely vintage. I would love to hear someone do a video response that's in favor of the modern card, wanting to drop 20 G's on a modern card. That's the whole point of Joey wanting to bring this or have people do this video response, is he wants to start a discussion. I think it's awesome. Guys, I will be putting Joey Brings It's link down below. Check out his channel. Check out his video talking about this topic and asking the question for the community. Thanks so much for tuning in to my video response. Until next time, as always, happy collecting.